It's time to go on the docket with our pal John Patrick Dolan. Three big things we're going to try and get to here real fast. The first one, and I remember this guy, Joseph Duncan III. If you don't remember that name, if you've been in the desert since the late 90s, I remember covering that story when I worked for the other guys across town. He is the man convicted. He's the murderous, I've got plenty of adjectives I could use for him, who killed Anthony Martinez and then also killed the Groney family from Idaho. What's going on with him?
Ninth Circuit just ruled that he cannot withdraw his waiver of an appeal. Back when he was convicted and sentenced to death in Idaho in the federal court, he asked for his appeal to be waived. 2 years later, he said, that was a mistake. The court said, sorry, you're stuck with your waiver, and now you are eligible for the death penalty. That's the Ninth Circuit ruling last week.
Was that some slick work by an attorney trying to get that done, or?
Well, it was in the sense that they came after he decided to represent himself and said that wasn't such a great idea. Unfortunately, his waiver was valid as found by the Ninth Circuit, and so he's eligible right now.
So now he's eligible for the death penalty, not for the Anthony Martinez murder, but for that Groney family.
Right. The Anthony Martinez case was after that, and he came down here, and the district attorney's office made a deal for 2 consecutive life without possibility sentences. With the Anthony Martinez case, there's a death penalty in the federal court in Idaho, and there's a death penalty in the state court in Idaho. So he's not going anywhere. Yeah,
as long as he never sees the light of day, one way or the other. Okay, what's going on? Something happened in court on March 22nd. The Agua Caliente having a dispute with the water district over water rights in our aquifers. What's going on here?
They filed a lawsuit asking for a place at the table with the water districts out here in the Coachella Valley because they thought the water districts are not properly running the aquifer, taking advantage of circumstances with Colorado water running the aquifer down. Judge said yes, they have rights pertinent to the land, and therefore they do have authority. Water districts say they want to exert extreme authority and they want to cut the water districts out. So they're trying to organize an appeal now to say, give them a place at the table, not complete authority, because if they take complete authority, there's no control over what they might do with the water. So it's the two sides that I think will probably negotiate this out, because Agua Caliente does deserve a place at the table. The question is, who else sits at the table?
All right, good point. And finally, let's finish up with the Boston bombing case and Sarnoff Jorkaya. What's going on with this? I mean, pretty much they just want to make sure it isn't the death penalty, so they're just trying to prove his brother did it, Tamerlan, don't kill the kid.
That's what they did in the guilt phase. That'll be closing arguments on Monday. He will probably be convicted, but it'll set up the penalty phase where they argue undue influence from his brother, and therefore he shouldn't get the death penalty. And a little interesting note, Judy Clark, who's the lawyer for him, was the lawyer for Mr. Duncan as well.
Really?
Very interesting little tidbit there for you.
And final question on that one. In Boston, does the jury decide now on the death penalty phase?
The jury decides. The jury decides. Yes, it's a second trial.
What's your gut? You know this attorney. Do you think she's going to?
I think it's going to be life without possibility, because remember, Massachusetts hasn't had a death penalty in decades, and all of the jurors come from that pool.
Boston bombing, though, national attention. We'll see what happens with that one. I might disagree with you on that one. Maybe they'll set a precedent over there and bring it back to Massachusetts. You never know. That was played out on national TV. Pretty horrific.
Oh, it's horrible, horrible.
If you need some legal advice, call our pal John Patrick Dolan. There's the information. It's dolanlawoffices.com. JPD, thanks for coming in. Good insight. Didn't know about the Duncan or that Agua Caliente one. Thank you very much. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Don't go away.